My name is Josh Grubaugh, and my goal today is to persuade you that students grades K through 12 should be required to wear a school-specific uniform. Students required to wear a school-specific uniform benefit in several ways. They gain behavioral strengths, they avoid several obstacles students go through every day, and they are instilled with professionalism from an early age. Unbelievably, in some cases where uniforms were implemented, serious crimes such as sex offenses and vandalism were reduced by 74% and 18% respectively. I've created a graph here that shows the 74% reduction in sex offenses. This graph illustrates the 18% reduction in vandalism. I was a student who attended schools that did not require uniforms, and I feel several of my peers, along with myself, could have benefited academically if uniforms had been required. In fact, the research I have conducted proves that children who attend schools with uniform requirements are given a stronger learning environment with far less distractions. The children of America are our future. Requiring mandatory uniforms strengthens their ability to focus on learning rather than social popularity while at school. Education will continue to shape the future of our country. Encouraging uniformity in a way that strengthens education is the best decision we can make for our youth. I will begin by discussing how requiring uniforms has reduced the need for discipline, followed by how uniforms naturally eliminate struggles students go through daily, concluding with how uniforms K through 12 aid in creating professional adults. Since we have a roadmap drawn out, let's address the issue at place. Students without required uniforms have many more distractions in and out of the classroom, some of which lead to unneeded discipline. The first source I reviewed was a report written in 2011 titled, "The Effects of a School Uniform Policy on an Urban School District." This article stated in recent years some urban schools have implemented uniform policies in hopes of improving student behavior. A significant drop was shown with suspensions for elementary and middle school students reduced by 28% and 36% respectively. I've created a diagram here that shows the elementary suspension reduction by 28% along with the middle school reduction by 36%. Secondly, parents said they felt the effects as well, with 67% reporting they feel a better school environment. Illustrated in this diagram shows the 67% of parents reported a better environment at school. A reduction in discipline is a positive result of mandatory uniforms, yet there are more issues when uniforms are not a requirement. Let's look at some various causes. Unneeded peer jealousy, gang activity, and bullying are largely involved when it comes to students' inability to learn and focus. One type of distraction is when students from wealthy families are able to have new and expensive clothing, which other students, and in some cases most students, can't afford. Schools that are located in areas with different demographics have students whose families are wealthy and students whose families receive government assistance. A 2015 article, School Uniform Statistics, 23 Pros and Cons, states, school districts that serve economically disadvantaged students account for the highest percentage of uniforms worn. Nearly 47% of schools where more than 3/4 of the student population receive free or reduced price lunch required school uniforms. In the graph, I've illustrated the 47% of students that require uniforms where 3/4 of the student population receive government help. This eliminates the competition of having the best materialistic items amongst peers. The second distraction is from plain fear of others. From the same article, School Uniform Statistics, 23 Pros and Cons, 54% of students said that having to wear a uniform didn't compromise their identity, and 41% said they could see a reduction in gang activity. Illustrated in this graph, 54% of the students feel that wearing a uniform did not compromise their identity. And this is an illustration showing 41% of the students saying that gang-related activity had been reduced. Understanding the problem and causes leads us to our solution. Requiring students from an early age to dress accordingly with uniform standards creates a culture. Through this culture, young students can excel from an early age and continue their success into a professional adulthood. First off, in a 2013 article, College of Education researchers conduct study on impacts of school uniforms. It was stated that while most students surveyed did not like wearing uniforms, 30% of the students did believe that wearing uniforms might reduce discipline issues and reported various benefits that may seem worthwhile in enhancing students' quality of their school experience. In this diagram, I've illustrated the 30% of students that said there could be benefits in school required uniforms, where these outward circles are students that dislike wearing the uniforms at all. By enhancing the quality of a school experience, you create a successful atmosphere. To boot, the study showed that 30 to 40% of student population reported benefits, so mandatory uniforms may be useful from a practical perspective. This ability to notice practicality in the process strengthens a person's judgment. In conclusion, mandatory uniforms create and instill positive traits in our youth. With that in mind, let's review what we've learned. First, we learned how student discipline had been reduced and how uniform requirements improved perception of school. Kids and parents alike can agree that mandatory uniforms create more positivity than no uniforms at all. Second, we discussed how peer jealousy and bullying can be significantly reduced. Students not only feel comfortable in their uniforms, they also feel safer around other students in uniform. Third, we took a glimpse at the advantages we give our youth on their journey through school and into adulthood, with heavy emphasis on creating a safe environment where learning is high in priority. The fact is, our world will continue to grow, and the young men and women are the future of tomorrow. Every student has the right to strive to be the best they can be, doing so without fear of being bullied or picked on because of the clothing they wear. Requiring uniforms enables our young people to learn in a safe environment that encourages learning over all else. All schools should be required to wear uniforms because all students deserve them. Thank you.